for right now, it's looking rough. The list is short. It's just that. That's at the top, and that's pretty much it.
It's just favorable to choose.
Wait, we in draft? There's no way we're in. Oh my god, we're in draft already. What the fuck? Alright, we're in fucking draft.
Something along with the counter pick for either Caps or Wonder.
David
is something
Tommy,
that
I'm
they
not
can look to try and take advantage of.
In the back of my mind, I'm also thinking if G2 or choosing
Alright,
red side,
so
obviously blue side team
draft.
have
Rogue
these
banning the
target
set. So
bans,
this is something
right?
that I really
They're
want
not
to see
actually
this
forced
season,
to
this
be
series.
like the King
What
Level
does
rules
Yanko's
we
play
see
if set
taking
is
away
banned?
today.
Because he played Yanko's played set four games in the last series, like 4 games in a row. So I just want to see if he can play anything else. Like his champion pool looks super limited right now.
Absolutely did.
And obviously, I mean it's Yanko's, right? He should be able to play multiple things, but yeah, we'll see.
Last weekend
Hold
was
on, let's see.
fantastic. Thresh removed from the pool as well. And currently a very quick lock in there for the Hecarim. It has worked for Inspired and Rogue, and they're going to try it again.
Well, Callista, Ashe, both up and available right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see the G2 lock in the Ashe. I'm surprised to see the Hecarim priority. G2 could respond with a Lilia if they wanted to. Something that we've seen often picked into the Hecarim internationally. And I do know that in solo queue, Jankos has been spamming that champion as well.
We'll see if Earl wakes up
if
for
we
it.
do see some scaling picks come out from Jankos, Rogue are going to be very happy.
Hecarim? Okay, so I wonder if
we just want to make sure
G2 cares about the Shen, because when you see Hecarim like this, it's normally always with Shen. I mean, they could also run it with Orin, but it seems like Hecarim Shen is the preferred team comp.
Onto Larson, so now Rogue are freed up to put Larson in a position to scale up and carry.
And Vedius, you talked about the Callista and the Ashe. That's going to be a Callista option here for G2 Esports. And see what they play in support role.
So the Callista surprises me a little bit because I find that Ashe
so
actually very
Graves, damn, Graves early pick, man. Graves was just not priority at all in EU last week. I mean, some people played it. I think Shadow played it like a game. But Inspired played it a game, but it wasn't super high prio. So maybe it's just a matchup thing. I mean, Graves into Hecarim should be really good for Graves. But we'll see if Shen is taken here by Rogue 1, 2, 3. Yanko's Graves. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? R5 Renekton? No, there's nowhere they're going Renekton with this. So I assume that it'll be like Shen versus Orin top. I mean, I just feel like Rogue is just going to take the Shen right here. Looks like they didn't. Okay, so I would expect this to be Orin on this pick.
Scaling junglers is not quite as good because with the True Grit passive he gets off of his Z, he can build up so much armor. It's super effective against multiple physical.
I assume it's going to be Orin here on this pick. Because there's a bunch of supports they could lane with. I mean, unless they really want to support here that they don't think they'll be able to get later.
That's going to be a pain for Jankos in these team fights.
I feel like Orin would be super good for them. If
If
not, if they like, they'll probably ban Shen here, and then Rogue might ban Orin.
Rogue is
Perseus is pretty good.
It's
solid.
They're probably not going to ban it either, and they probably consider the Braum to be a good answer to it, not only to mitigate some of those engages, but also
they ban out the other mid laner. I think they can just go Azir Shen. Any chance they flex the Hecarim? I guess there is a chance, but I would assume that it's going to go jungle almost every time.
Rogue, it will be hard for G2 to make plays happen, and I also think Braum's Unbreakable, his shield, is really, really effective against multiple ranged auto attacks.
The player joining the game. Well, I can't get any LEC players anymore, so maybe I'll get somebody else. We'll see.
And because you have a Hecarim out of the jungle and an Ashe in ADC, all the engage options, like that's been met for Rogue. They don't need Vander on another hard engaged champion, so instead they're going to try to absorb some of the engage.
Got internal server error. All right.
Already a little bit low range.
Nautilus is banned. Will they go Nautilus and Leona banned? Syndra banned. Okay. Is it going to be Nautilus, Leona both banned?
The Azir and the Syndra ban. We started talking about this game with a focus on Larson. Playing into Orianna is going to have some options available.
Get LS. Baby, we good.
Something aggressive, something that he can try to shut down.
Wake up Nistic, dude. There's no way players in their offseason are waking up at 8 a.m. All right, so there's Leona. Tarek was banned. I mean, Tarek is pretty good into all-in. I guess that makes sense here. Tarek Callista also is really strong, so Leona there. What are they going to round out this team comp with? I assume it's going to be a Shen. Like, I've been saying it the whole draft, but I'm just surprised that they got to it. They go Shen, and then I wonder what the mid laner is going to be.
Very nicely for Rogue and be right in Larson's wheelhouse.
Definitely could be.
Has a few options.
Wait and see.
Larson and Kali, okay, that's one of them.
Oh, we so badly want this to happen.
Yeah, Kali does get locked in. Okay, so last week,
LEC players are allowed for only LCS, which is fine, I guess. Oh, so they went Ornn instead. Maybe they perceived Ornn to be a better pick for G2, and that's why they took the Ornn away, because Shen doesn't really fit their comp great.
I think it synergizes very well with the Hecarim in terms of dive. Hecarim goes in,
so GP is up into the Ornn. You could also just go tank for tank, but I think that normally favors Ornn.
But G2 are responding with a bit of scaling of their own. Right now,
it ends up being the Kayle. Okay. We'll have to see how the Kayle versus Ornn actually goes. I mean, definitely Kayle can scale for free in this lane. I'm just kind of worried about the overall G2 team comp. I think it's not the best team comp overall. Like, they're going to have to win through like playing bot, ignoring Wunder, and Wunder has to play safer out early ganks, and then we'll see like if he's able to actually make a difference come level 11. I've seen this matchup multiple times, especially in LPL, and the times where I've seen the matchup, it just hasn't looked super great for the Kayle. Like, even if Kayle scales for free, there's times where she just has no impact in the game compared to Ornn, so I think this is a rough one, a rough one for sure. We'll have to see. G2 is going to smash bot. I mean, they definitely have the advantage bot side. That being said, like, Ashe is not terrible into Kalista by any means. Like, it's not unwinnable. I think they can definitely play out the lane phase.
Let's see how they do.
10 seconds. I mean, just use the site, man. Just use the site. Proto Swaggins, thank you for the 14 months. Hey, we got the fucking hype train boys coming in. Rumored Madman, Semicolic 20, AR, Ascetic, Fairfaz, Bronze, KYS, okay, nice man. Slow 14, Nobody Jungle, T Punisher, 247, DJ Like a Boss, Just Wanted Bacon, Jungle Squall, Travis Cool 930, ASAP Rust, Vivaris. All right, there you go. I am at 45 right now. 45 seconds in right now. I'm going to.
I'm really excited to see how Larssen stacks up. He's going to be
I'm going to sync in 3, 2, 1, boom. Timer's on. All right, let's get into this game. So Orianna versus Akali is normally pretty bad for the Akali early on. I mean, Akali goes fleet forward, TP, and just tries to sustain it out, but it is a harder matchup than some of the other Akali matchups. For example, Akali into Syndra is nowhere close to as bad as the Orianna into Akali, and a lot of that just comes down to like the auto attacks in lane.
G2's composition now looks a little bit easier to execute.
Yeah, it's really interesting because
you think Fnatic can win against G2 again? I think G2 is still going to win the split, but maybe I'm just a G2 fanboy. Maybe I'm just delusional, but I still have the feeling like G2 is going to win. Okay, so Inspired starting on.
Both teams can look for picks, can look
to
start off fights.
What was Jankos' pathing?
I do think there is
going to start on red, right?
So much pressure on Larssen's Akali to
Did he reset it or something? Okay. That was. It took him 20 seconds to clear his red buff. That sucks.
Realize there's a Kayle ultimate going down, or Mickey is easily able to see him.
We got player cams, boys. Okay.
Rogue, whose only real source of consistent range DPS is going to be this Astra Hansa.
We'll see how long it'll take to get to those team fights in terms of...
So what we saw in the other series is that the Orianna was just like being able to do a lot more than the Akali. Like maybe Akali's more of a scrim champion, but in the games that we saw last week, it seemed like the Orianna was winning out this this matchup.
Do you think at any point he wants to,
I actually like Inspired's pathing. What he did is he did red Wraiths into blue and Gromp, so he skipped his Wolves here. I actually thought he was doing Gromp by where he pulled it, but I think this is like a fine path.
Of the camps coming through. You can already see
skipping the Wolves and then being on the map a little bit early, because normally when you see the Hecarim start red, you're expecting either a full clear or clearing directly up. Surprised that we didn't see an invade here coming out of Jankos. Normally that's the play with Graves into Hecarim, is you try to either level 1 invade. Obviously hard to do it into Braum, so I don't think they're going to level 1 invade red buff, but even like level 2 invading a Hecarim, there's no way that Hecarim can really like fight off a Graves in his jungle. Obviously, you're going to go Q and W as Hecarim level 2. And yeah, if you're going Q and W, the Graves can just permakite you, use his phase rush, and just pretty much shit on you. So pretty good over there. Not sure where Jankos is going. Jankos needs to go to... Wait, what? Where's Jankos going?
Is
he going to let himself get double crabbed for no reason?
Jankos just wasting a lot of time.
Like, Yango should be, maybe he has to cover top wave. That's the only reasoning I can think. Vander had his thing the wrong way. So I assume that that's what it was. He just had to go top. Wonder's just dead. What is this flash? Oh my god, Wonder actually griefed it so hard. So Yango's actually got forced top there, even though bottom scuttle was spawning, because of Wonder's lane state. So Wonder kind of trolled his lane state a little bit. Yeah, the wave was just pushing away from him. He knew the enemy jungler was there. It was even revealed.
I mean, that's
Pretty sad. And he lost his flash. Like, that was not what you like to see. That's a big grief from Wonder. It's a big fucking grief.
His top laner doesn't have any priority, so Wonder's then stepping up to try and see if he can maybe help him out. Ends up getting ganked. I do feel like G2 definitely dropped the ball on that one, and also are going to be out of 2 teleports.
The Braum shield is backwards as well. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty bad. Wonder is actually going to get a decent trade here out to Finn. Finn might have to flash. He's definitely going to have to flash. Okay, he's not dead, but the flash is good.
Still trying to get some damage there against
He's still a CP, so Jaegers will help shove this in, so that the wave will bounce back to Wonder. Depends on if Ornn will be level 6. Most likely, Ornn won't be level 6 here. But, I mean, Jaegers is getting pulled around the map, and he's not doing what you want when you play this champion, so it's kind of rough for, pretty rough for Jaegers so far. Like, this Graves could end up useless really quickly. For Graves, you actually kind of need to, like, play for yourself at points, and it doesn't seem like he's able to actually do that here. He's having to, like, babysit lanes. Think about where Inspired is right now. Inspired is up a kill, and he's up a camp, and he got a base off. That's so far ahead, actually.
Larson gonna clear that out this
in
way.
terms of jungle.
Expected him to reset and TP. I think this will screw up.
At least Diego's got the counter jungle onto Gromp. Bottom crab is still up. I don't think Inspired realized the bottom crab was still up, or he would have just taken it for free. So I think he should have been able to recognize that bottom crab was up based on when Yanko showed top and like the timing he showed top with the CS he had. But either way,
the only time Yanko's
very minor mistake
for that Drake is if he knows the enemy bot lane is resetting, or I believe he just spotted Inspired on the top ward. We'll also see that he hit the Scryer's Bloom right there too. So he knows the bot side of the map is going to be clear for the time being. But I think now because Larson's come back,
okay, Caps is just getting one shot. Oh, Larson griefed it so hard. Larson actually just turbo griefed it. Caps dies for that. Like, that's a mistake where you die versus, like, more skilled assassin player or an assassin player that's more comfortable.
And no kill will go down.
Yango still hasn't won for the crab. Okay, so bottom crab that spawned at 3:15 is still up at 6:15. It's just been up for 3 minutes. No one wants it. Surprised that even like the Kalista didn't do it. Oh, and this guy is dead. Wonder's dead here 100%. Oh, he just hit 6 though. Oh man, that's actually great 6 timing. He knew that he's got it on that minion. But Wonder's just gonna ult here. What's happening to Finn? Finn is griefing. Holy shit, what a turbo grief. They're both dead, aren't they? Oh, maybe not. Okay. The Yankees can push out the entire wave. That was such a grief from Finn to go back in there. Holy.
It wasn't right there. Starting off the dive, it looked so nice for Rogue, but one singular minion died. That gave Wonder the
man, Larson had a solo kill for sure there.
Right there. Jankos has enough time to run up into the top lane, and they punish hard there with 2 kills.
Wow. And then all of a sudden,
I don't know what happened in Finn's mind. I wonder if he thought that Kale had used ult or something. Like, he just mentally blanked and thought Kale had used ult, because even Ian like that, when you walk up, if Wonder just immunes the damage, like, you still get aggro there, right? And then you just are completely fucked under the turret. And then the Hecarim wouldn't even be able to like bail you out. So I don't know. That was really insanely turbo grief for me.
They are playing to try to punish, and they're playing proactive. I mean, we talked a little
bit the gameplay right now is like not super good, but at least it's active.
In a farming phase, and right now, Inspired and Larson are once again looking for pressure in the mid lane. That's the ultimate going in. This time round, Larson finds his man, turns attention to Jankos with the help of Inspired and the Rampage. Will be able to find 2 quick kills.
This is really clutch. The flash has gone from
this Graves is pretty fucking useless. Hecarim is 3-1.
And that's also going to be a hit Rift Herald spawning up immediately. We see the play top side. It's just that minion in the front, and then Rogue tried to disengage because right, they're like, okay, Wonder has ultimate. We can't really do much about this one. But then here's where it all goes wrong. Finn thinks he can burst
the max range E from Finn is super grief. Wonder should have been able to just ulti that and then they just win.
Yanko shows up up here and is able to land the smoke screen.
Oh, now we're going to zoom in on Flash W.
Oh, the Pengu going to secure it for Jankos.
Oh my god, this little breakdance too. You'll love to see it.
Styling on him. Nicely done there from Jankos.
How are people flaming Finn for that? What do you mean? Why would you not flame Finn for that?
It was perfectly on time as well.
Like,
just as
going back in there is really crazy.
They look to immediately make the play in mid lane with no flashes, as Ender was talking about on camera.
Going back in is really, really insane there for Finn.
And it's exactly how Rogue are supposed to play, because
this draft just doesn't even look like comfortable at all for G2. Looks like shit.
Inspired when he hits 6, he wants to make plays. When
like the Graves with the Kale, I mean, I don't know.
Now we're just going to wait for those cooldowns.
Normally you want Kale with something that can go in.
To do exactly the same thing. So now it becomes about vision control around mid and whether or not G2 can see that play coming.
It's defensive wards for Rogue right now. They're 1,000 gold up, 4 kills to 2, and we saw that Mountain Drake going down on your screen. The first few backs coming in and Inspired. 3 kills, 1 death, 1 assist thus far. Definitely one of the leading.
Blizzard do anything into Rogue's team comp? Nope. Not later on. It's behind in lane 2, and they aren't stacking drags either, really. They just got their first one at 9 minutes, so.
Yeah, and I think Inspired is definitely worth
kind of rough.
Because I think that ever since the carry jungle meta, he's been doing a great job.
Wonder's dead again.
Take a look at this. Call the Forge God comes
I mean, Wonder is just like turboing it.
Wonder does have divine judgment, and he will catch.
I mean, I guess he gets 1 for 1 here, but it's still like not good. I mean, the Hecarim is just so insanely strong, and Hecarim's power spike is when he gets Triforce, and he's just getting accelerated right to this Triforce. This is really a game where you can hard 1v9 if you're you can hard 1v9 this game if you're Inspired here. And Mickey X goes kind of greeds out, looks for the demolish proc, and has to use his own ult or the Kalista ult as a repercussion for it.
Inspired has 4 kills. He has a Trinity Force completed at 10 minutes into the game. I cannot, like, that is huge right there. So yes, Wonder is going to outplay this, and I think he does play it very, very nicely after seeing that Inspired is certainly going to cut him off at the pass and be able to finish him off. But man, Inspired getting super fed off these early plays.
It certainly is, and you know, this gank wasn't really a complicated one. Finn had ultimate, the wave was pushing in. Jankos wasn't topside, and he tried to make the cross map play happen bot, but the fact that Wonder was able to get a kill back, props to him. I
mean, does Inspired have Triforce on this base? Oh my god, he has a 10-minute Triforce in pro play, dude. It's just too much. It's way too much. He should be able to just 1v9 it. I mean, he looks at any lane, they just die. Wonder is dead here. Yeah, Wonder's just dead. Or he should be dead. Okay. I guess he was afraid of the TP there. I think he could have actually killed him and ran. Oh, this actually could be a grief. If that was an ulti from Caps, I wonder if Inspired dies. I think there's a chance, honestly. I guess not. I guess Leona wanted to turn the other way. Nah, I didn't watch TSM Legends yet.
To at least trading 1-for-1, and then his Q didn't actually have enough damage, therefore it put him in an awkward position as the Orianna shield came in to save Wonder. So good turnaround there from G2. They're keeping the gold very close, but again, I'm really impressed with how proactive Rogue are being. They're going toe-to-toe with G2, and honestly, they're the ones making more picks happen in this early game.
And they don't slow down either. Inspired's already down here towards the bottom side of the map. Vander here too, and G2 are trying to respond, but they have Rift Herald. Like, Rogue should be able to burst this tower very quickly.
Okay, Herald's gonna get dropped now. Mickey's coming around the corner. He's got access to the ultimate as well. We'll jump onto Vander.
Okay, somebody can just walk to the wall. Mickey X wanted to clearly fight that. He dropped ult onto Vander, and Vander just kind of looked at him.
For a team fight, it never actually came.
I mean, this is not the performance you'd want out of G2. Like, some people were expecting a 3. I was thinking like a 3-1, but I definitely think G2 was going to win the series. I mean, this game, I think they got outscaled, though. Like, Orianna scales really well. Maybe Orianna can 1v9 the game, but I mean, I guess Orianna Kale scales really well. I just don't like their team comp overall. Like, the Ornn is going to give Ornn items. Ashe is going to be annoying as fuck. Like, I mean, I guess G2 can outscale in terms of like side laning and things like that, but their team comp doesn't look good, right? Kale, Graves, Orianna, Kalista. It just seems like this team can get one shot.
1-on-1 right now. He is set up for success. Larson is set up for success, and I think that when we look at Rogue last week, the changes that they made very much came from mid and jungle. You know, bot lane still relatively neutral. Arrow does land.
It does. That's definitely not the angle you want to be flashing if you're Perks. He's going to continue to get away. Uses Summon a heal underneath the tower. Hunts Summer.
Okay.
With the help
Arrow
will pick up the kill.
and Perks just dies.
Straight line. Still get hit by the arrow.
Yep. Not great from
Interesting. I mean, I guess this is the classic G2 game 1, where they just run it down and then they start doing better in game 2. Didn't like the Graves here, though, so far. The Graves has been very uninspiring to me.
They've been a solid staple of Rogue pretty much throughout the split, and a lot of these changes that we've been seeing from Rogue have been from the mid and jungle, and they're stepping up alongside this consistent performance as Hansam and Vander find themselves a kit.
And as far as team play, something that impressed me so much from Rogue series just last week is how willing the entire team was to fully commit to a play almost instantly, even using things like Sentinel to instantly.
But overall, this hasn't been as high quality of a game as we're expecting from EU. Like, this is like some like FlyQuest level gameplay.
By Finn and Inspired.
We want to experience more when we watch this region. This is the hope for the West, right?
Rogue are just too strong at this point into the game. I would love to see G2 continue to try and play around the Drake.
Do you think Rogue get one shot with the Leona, Ori, the Leona, Ori, Kale combo in the backline? Wait, what backline, bro? They have only Ashe. They have one backliner. It's not how the fights are going to be played out at all.
Mid-game was where things started to fall apart a little bit.
So I wouldn't say... I think that Rogue is one of the best teams at utilizing...
Inspired is fucking huge.
In the mid-game, I think, is actually where Rogue can look very clean. Sometimes, closing out games, that transition between mid-game into actually ending...
He can 1v9 this shit. I mean, you play Graves into Hecarim, and the Hecarim's ahead of you. You just want to go next.
Syndra, sometimes we've seen them mess up in terms of their execution. Like,
Alright, man. You've spammed the same thing how many times? Let me see. If this is literally all you spammed, I'm just timing you out. Hold on.
So we see a flash hit.
Okay, dude. Alright, yeah. We'll just give you 8 hours. I know you're trying to help, but at some point, like, when you're spamming the same line for like fucking 20 minutes straight, you should probably just like stop. Okay, so Inspired is really low, has no ult here. I guess they're gonna have to go hard on this. This is just a necessity here.
Use the blast cone over the wall and dash back across, and they get out alive.
I mean, that play was excellent right there from Rogue to escape from it, because it looked really, really rough at the start. But they bait the teleport out of Wonder. Finn's gonna hold on to that while fully pushing the wave into the top side of the map. So Rogue,
Hecarim is bullshit. He just leaves any bad fight he takes. I mean, that's not a thing that he should be able to do, though.
Just land onto Wonder.
Yeah, too far
if you take a bad fight with Hecarim, you should be able to get punished, but obviously any champion that gets super far ahead like this will be kind of broken. I mean, for example, in LPL, they'll way higher prioritize Graves than... Graves and Hecarim, because Graves can just put Hecarim in a spot where Hecarim doesn't get to play the game. There's a bunch of flaws with the champion, and Graves wins this matchup. Just because of the way that Wonder played his early lane phase and how Jankos was forced to path as a result.
And the thing that I think Rogue
pretty doomed for him.
At is fighting over objectives. So when objectives keep spawning, they're going to look good. That's why they immediately move over to the Rift Herald. G2 aren't going to be able to do anything about that. And you know, they've only taken one outer tower, so this is going to be able to knock down the next one with so many people pressured around top side of the map. And Finn's
Wonder level 11, big power spike for him. Has his gunblade too, so he can win on side versus Finn pretty easily. Finn's in a bad spot. He's not even going to wait. Is there no ulti on Mickey? Pretty sure Mickey can just combo him and he just dies. I mean, I assume he is unflinching, but pretty sure Mickey just drops the ult. That guy is dead. Like, insecure ult.
Well, you could say the tower dive was a little bit his fault, but I think that Wonder's done a really good job of punishing Finn, and here we do see him overstep just a little bit.
Kind of overrated. No, I think LPL is the best region in the world. Like, I think it's pretty far ahead. Like, I watched all of the LCK playoffs, and
I think they can also save it for the mid
even Damwon I wasn't super impressed with. I mean, there's been a lot of inting around the world. I think that this World Championship, there's no team that looks like unbeatable or anything. See a lot of mistakes from a lot of different people. Whereas, at least domestically, we see teams come into Worlds that are like pretty dominant.
When a wave is pushed out away from them, Finn will go and back up Larson. That's something we saw from them last week when Larson wants to push out side waves, and we'll see this much later in the game. Like
if I was in Jankos' shoes, would I take the same path? Well, I guess he's forced to take the same path because Wonder's 100% dead, but the bottom scuttle path is just better. I mean, they have to just communicate like what the wave state is going to be and what needs to happen.
Be able to get this tower with the second Rift Herald. Was picked up. They got the first one as well. Got themselves
is just too far ahead now. It's going to be really rough for Jankos and Perks. Okay, they're going on to... They can keep on going? Maybe not. They might have been able to keep on going and get Ash's Flash or Arrow or something like that. At least they got a kill, but this kill onto Jankos is actually going to do nothing. Especially with him going Cleaver into the Hecarim. The Hecarim's not going to be under threat for a long time.
They were expecting a dive to happen in bot side, so 3 people being in the top lane bush was completely unexpected for Rogue.
Guys, doesn't seem like a Jankos pick. Well, especially not with how he's been playing, right? Like this season, Jankos has been like the ultimate dog jungler to his laners. Like he hasn't been playing carry at all this season, really. It's been a ton of set picks. When Volibear was good, he was playing a bunch of Volibear. He's been playing Sejuani. Like, you've been seeing some Lee Sin, but even the Lee Sin is played in a supportive way. Like, it seems like he's just like the get his laners through the game type jungler. He's not been playing like super carries. He's not been like the. I mean, he did play like a Kha'Zix game here or there, but that's just not been his preferred playstyle.
Outside of Finn, rogue composition relatively squishy, but of course the Braum is going to make this.
Fabi approves of this Ori build. Fabi approves of it. I think that it's actually not good here. I don't like this Orianna build in this game because you're playing against things that are meant to dive you. So I feel like the Seraph Shield has too much value. You're playing against like a Kali Hecarim. These things have to come in. If your job is just to try to survive as much as you can of that burst, and then you'll be fine.
And finish off a Death's Dance. It's going to make it hard for G2 to fight around an upcoming Infernal Drake. Rogue already have full pressure around that area of the map, and with Perks farming that top wave, I don't think G2 are going to try to contest, but this is going to put Rogue into a much closer position towards the Dragon Soul, and with a composition that is so strong.
Look behind Caps to the right.
And with Hecarim only
to his right, yeah.
Become more and more of a threat. G2 are going to have to
find
someone to gain control back.
13 out of 16, that's not a thing, by the way. It's not like Kale just hits 16 and wins the game alone. That's just not how they balance the champion anymore. That's how it was originally, but now it's like at a level 11 2-item power spike is the strongest you get, and then like I mean, he'll still be like fine late game, but it's not like 16 just auto wins you the game.
Yeah, the Gunblade wasn't enough for him, clearly. Yeah. The Gunblade to get close, and then the Riley is to make sure you never get away. He is versus a lot of ranged champions, so I can see some merit in that purchase coming through. Will reduce his DPS, but then once he gets Riley's next, you know the synergy there. You build up the stacks of mana super quickly with the.
I mean, Riley's plus the Andrews, right?
Riley's plus the Andrews, exactly.
The Riley's on Akali is like a little bit interesting.
The trade did happen there, by the way. Dragon was picked up by Rogue.
I mean, I guess it's for the HP.
Wonder's very close to this Nash's Tooth, and the one thing.
I wonder if there's not a better purchase. Honestly, like I would take almost anything over this. They're not that tanky, so Leandre's isn't that good. You could sit on an Oblivion Orb.
In a gold deficit. Frankly, they've kind of been.
They're gonna have like decent healing. Honestly, if he went in LPL, they'd go Morello's here 100%. Like they go Morello's a lot, but like this is a situation where they would not even think twice about it.
They just need to try unseat
any type of healing on the enemy team, and low HP values equals Morello's in LPL.
Playing very clean for the most part. I think there's very little to criticize of them. I think the only point you can really attack is Finn, but even then, like he's always going to be valuable on this Ornn. He's kind of like what I consider a Malphite type top laner. As long as you've got your ultimate, you're always going to contribute something to your team.
The Riley's usage is probably because slows are good versus Kalista, I would assume. That's the logic here. And the team doesn't have like too much mobility. This is not a good ulti by Inspired. This is actually really hard grief. G2 can actually like turn and win this fight. This is a good situation for them.
Will use perfect execution out, and Finn is now caught amongst multiple members of G2.
Mickey might be in trouble. Actually, he's fine. Yeah, Inspired really hard overforced this, and there's no fucking shroud from Larson. Larson just griefed, and they're gonna get Baron off this. This is such a power int from Rogue. Oh my god, this is terrible gameplay. That's so rough from Rogue. What are they doing here? This makes no sense, man. They saw the Kayle there, and they still just went for it. All right, I guess they just start Baron here, right? I think they just start Baron. They have Kalista, they have Kayle. They're right next to it. Larson's dead for 19, no ulti. I guess they're not going to go for it. Damn. I thought that was 100% just going to be turned into a Baron there. Kalista, Kayle does it pretty well. This is just so cringe. Like, they don't even have members on this side of the map. This is like such a ridiculous overforce from Inspired. I don't know what this was. Perks Kalista, what the fuck? I mean, it was just handed to him. And then Inspired, Larson goes in there. After Inspired ins, Larson ins, and goes in with no Shroud, no Zanyas, no stopwatch, nothing, and just dies. I mean, I guess he thought he was going to die anyway, but
much relevant.
I think
in
they
the
could have
fight
like
because the Kalista
comboed
issue,
it better.
the minions keep bouncing back, keep at arm's length from the Akali. We then have the stopwatch coming from Mickey, and then the moment the stopwatch pops, oh hey look, Kalista ultimate in there as well. Then the Kayle finally
Cringe
joins
illegal
the
gameplay.
Kayle
Yeah, that was
ultimate on
super
top, and,
illegal.
They have so many stall tools that this Kalista, who can often struggle against these champions, could then just start to run them down and actually turn this fight back in G2's favor.
And I want to thank the observers for a second because they highlighted the gold, and we saw Hansama not in the fight. He has over 1K gold lead over his counterpart in perks, so that was actually a really big loss not to have him there in the fight.
G2's still in it.
That's
Dude, I hate that smoke screen usage, by the way. Like smoke screening just to like tag the red buff. Really dislike it because smoke screen is such a long cooldown on Graves and it's such like an OP spell. It's like your entire kit. Caps is just dead. Okay, they just lose the game here. Caps just got arrowed, didn't flash it or anything. Larson's in the backline for free. Wonder's coming, but I mean, I guess it's 4v5 for a little bit, but Ornn is almost here. Yeah, it's doomed. It's doomed. Perks is flash. Yanko says no flash. They both got double knockout. It's game. It's game. They lose. Hansama, you want to auto a couple more times? Okay, great. Well,
that is an ace to Rogue.
Gotta flash those if you're Caps.
Win there for Rogue. 5-4-0 underneath the tower. Rogue come out. They see Wonder's not there. Hansama immediately pulls the trigger on the arrow, and Finn comes in at the
GG
end.
should have just like hard ran, by the way.
That's gonna be a Baron to Rogue.
They should have hard fucking ran after that arrow landed and Caps got one shot. They tried to turn it because they're like, the call was clearly Kayle has TP, Ornn doesn't have TP, so when Kayle got there, they're like, we got 4v4 for a couple seconds, and they used arrow, like maybe we can do something. No Akali ult, they run forward. As soon as they keep on walking forward, you knew it was doomed. They had to just cut their losses here way earlier, just decide to give it up.
They see Wonder's bot side. If Wonder doesn't have his ultimate in the fight, Rogue can pull the
Caps had to flash here. Oh, he kind of walked into it, honestly.
Caps has the flash too. He could have just flashed out, but he believes in his sidestep, and he sidesteps into the arrow, which Rogue are very quick
Okay, so
to
here, they just need to run. They need to be like running, but they're like flash stunning the Braum. When Braum still has ult, Mickey dies for it instantly. Ornn gets 2-man ulti into 2-man E. Honestly, Finn played this fight pretty well.
Yankos and Perks not once with the ultimate, but twice with E against the tower, knocks them up so Hansama can finish the dive. Hansama had to walk out of the smoke screen to get that final auto attack and finish the kill, but you are seeing now just how annoying Rogue's composition can be.
It's insane to see two team fights back to back, displaying fully how each composition can be played. And that was a great turnaround there from Rogue. They managed to punish Caps. They get themselves the
If he had actually kept on walking up, I think he would have lived. If the arrow was a little bit behind him.
Is going to be available to them, and they also unlock Caps.
Yeah, this draft was pretty weird.
So
I didn't like the Kalista Graves one too.
2 minutes left on the buff,
Thought it
and they're
was
pushing 2 lanes.
not good.
Talked about a little bit earlier. Let's see, is there going to be an initiation or a dive? It has felt like Rogue have been willing to do that all game long.
Finn on Ornn instead of Shen. I mean, his Shen looked fine when he played it. Goes down in CS, but I mean, I don't think his Ornn was specifically good. Like, he played a good fight, but I don't think this game was like a great Ornn performance.
Still sticking in mid, and the arrow just misses.
All I'm going to say is Wonder is 1 level away from 16, and like, I will say that Rogue is in a commanding position right now, but until I see that level 16 Kayle dead, I still think the G2 have a means of being able to stall this game out and being able to turn things around. The arrow misses, Rogue can't quite capitalize and convert it into a kill or a tower, so for now they're just going to disengage, look to reset, restock some of their
Call
vision.
first pick? No, the first pick was Ashe. It was Ashe into Kalista Graves into Braum and or actually was it Hecarim first pick?
Rogue have never beaten G2.
Actually, maybe it was Hecarim first pick.
To their name. The one game
not sure. It might have been Hecarim first pick actually. But yeah, the first 3 were Hecarim, Ashe, Braum, and then they went for Ornn and Akali later on.
Again, you cannot deny the fact they've had
a Hecarim first pick should be really punishable. But I guess the fact that they can play Graves into Hecarim just means that they need to like probably ban it. I would assume.
Who is in control?
Because if you could first pick Hecarim and you don't get punished, then yeah, it's gonna be really OP. I just don't see how Hecarim is suddenly first pickable. It doesn't make sense to me. But the champions buffs were not that insane. Like, what was the last buff that made everyone start picking it? The last buff that made everyone start picking Hecarim was his E got like changed from 3 seconds to 4 seconds, and for some reason that like made everyone think it was the most OP champion in the game.
If he's on the set, he doesn't care, but on the Graves, it's going to be a really big deal for him. And now we're at a point where I'm concerned G2 do not have enough damage to get through Rogue, because with triple ninja toppies and now Larson in the top lane, there's no man on Wonder.
Okay, level 16 to 15, Wonder not at max yet, as you mentioned. No mana available. Larson is just going to run him down, use the Shroud flawlessly. Wonder just caught a bit out of position, shall we say.
Yeah, he was past the point at which he really had control over the map, and it was a very easy pickup for Larson. Honestly, it feels like the Rogue showed up today, and in this game one, G2 definitely have not. We've seen poor decision-making, poor execution from a number of players.
I mean, I think he's not that good. I think Hecarim is kind of a trap pick right now. We see it rarely picked in Asian regions where they're better at like punishing through level 1s. I think this is the biggest weakness of Hecarim, and the reason why it's not that early pickable is because its level 1 is garbage. And you can just abuse it level 1. Like, you should just get some type of advantage. The Hecarim just starts the game behind.
Right, we saw Jankos come in with the farming jungler pick, the Lilia, and then immediately pivoted off it. It was the set from then on out. They're trying to play early game champions. I don't necessarily feel like that was the issue for G2 in this game. While Jankos' early decision-making did cost them a little bit, it really just has felt like, individually, G2 have not been playing super great as a team. A lot of them dying in their own lanes, getting dove, and apart from Wonder outplaying a couple times on the top side, they haven't had a lot of good things to speak of.
I'm very interested to see what happens, but we do need to see Rogue finish this game out. You know.
Yeah, it's a Warmugs on Warren here.
On the minimap.
Not sure.
Picture rather, the observer's highlighting level 16.
I mean, Loggit's going to be hard to follow his team diving.
He needs to be in the right place.
But if Loggit's hard for you, Redemption is really good.
Positively, it's a minute until Infernal. So that might just be the battleground between G2 and Rogue.
It absolutely will be. You know, Rogue, they're reaching the point where they feel so strong. Molten Edge upgraded for Hansama. Finn should be able to upgrade Larson's Death Cap or Inspired's Trinity Force, but now Inspired with the finish Cinderhulk. I love picking up Cinderhulk late into the game as Hecarim because that percent bonus HP scaling you get, it's a very strong scaling item. And with level 16, the Ninja Tabby's on top against 3 auto-attacking carries from G2's side, you're just not going to be able to cut through that horse.
It looks like Rogue have got the early setup on some vision here, pushed a little bit into G2's jungle, so how did G2 even potentially
This is pretty good
win
against
this fight
Kale. I mean, it's fine against Kale, but like, how often is he going to be side laning versus Kale at this point of the game? I think that that's like not even a thing anymore. If anyone goes against Kale, it'll probably be the Akali at this point. The Ornn will be grouping.
You have to push through mid, and that's how you enter. Make sure that Rogue have one person picking up minions underneath the mid lane tower.
Akali build. I mean, we talked about it, bro. I'm not going to just only talk about it the entire game. Okay, Ashe actually gets picked here, but they don't even one-shot. Holy fuck. The Oriole kind of flung the Ashe the opposite direction to where they wanted. Ashe only lost like half of her health. They got her flash though, but Mickey's flash means that they're probably not going to be able to make that play again.
With a big wombo combo coming through from Caps, Jankos, and Mickey, they still weren't able to kill, and now Rogue can look to recontest.
Watch Inspired and Larson. They're the backline divers. They're underneath the fight. Right now, Rogue are trying to pincer off G2, but G2, they want to turn this onto Inspired.
Oh, they're going hard here, but Inspired still ult. He can just turn around and ult. He most likely will do. Okay, he's just chilling right now. He's going to look for the steal. I actually really don't like looking for the steal here for Inspired. I think that they should just be looking for the fight. Because if they win the fight, they win the game. Like, think about if the Ornn ult, or if the Hecarim ult actually went on, like, the enemy champions. They could have probably just ended the game right there. Or, like, yeah, I think it's more important. And he didn't get the smite anyway, but in general, like, if the enemy team isn't on Soul, I don't really like going hard for the smite steal. I prefer just the consistent play of looking for the fight there. That's normally your advantage.
Proving it as Larson looks to get that kill on the Caps.
Oh, he's really trying so hard. Won't be able to find the shurikens though.
Kali actually looks so slow there.
Back, but that's enough threat to push both Jankos and Caps out of the pit. Second Baron secured to Rogue. The first pick Hecarim 6-1-4.
Just go next season. I mean, this is kind of scary for EU fans, I must admit. Like, you're expecting higher quality final than this, or semi-final than this, I guess. Loser bracket final, whatever you want to call it.
5-man knockup from Bromold on Vander delays so much no further damage can come through, and that allows Rogue to be able to reset the fight. And then
Akali is not clean. Yeah, it's not the cleanest thing we've ever seen.
Ward that's just sitting behind means that Larson has so much safety and control in this situation, knowing that he can come for the flank. G2 have to be
like watch Inspired, and imagine if he just went for somebody else with his ulti here.
But then he comes in. Look at how much time he's going to buy with the Shroud, with the Akali. Wonder then is in a really awkward spot.
I mean, Wonder got insta-CC'd from the. I mean, that's kind of feasible. Like, imagine if Inspired still was just chasing and had ulti here. Then they both died. Then they all die. I don't know.
I have to reiterate what Ender said. It is like a whole team.
It sounds like
fight
LPL
effort
isn't a
from
throw
everyone
fest.
doing exactly
I mean,
what they
LPL
need to
throws,
do.
but like the
They
overall
shut down
gameplay was higher quality than this. Like the mechanical gameplay, especially in the early game, was a lot better than what we saw here. And like the throws here were a lot worse than LPL throws. Like the throw top lane was just really crazy from Rogue.
Team fight in multiple different styles. It's not just a clean front to back. Larson can also be huge.
Ooh, a little bit of damage coming
This
down
Braum
to
just
Van,
counters
but
like the
that
whole
wall is
champion.
doing so much
Cool.
work. Here
Okay,
comes
whatever.
Finn from behind. Call the Forge got
Perks
a
can't
very
play.
long range, and all of a
3
sudden
kills.
G2, they're locked inside their jungle. They started the
This guy's
fight,
dead
but
too.
Rogue
Or Jaeger's
are
gonna try to get some
ending
damage
it.
off, but
What
it's
a
not gonna happen.
fantastic performance
Oh!
so far as Hansamu with
Spire
the
kind of
double
walked
kill.
into the
There's another
second
for
part of the
Larson.
queue.
Shockwave comes up from Caps, but it simply doesn't matter. Larson cannot dive under the tower. They're into
I
Wonder
mean,
and Caps, but they find themselves
G2's
3
kinda
more
stalling.
kills. And Rogue
But
are
not
making
really.
a statement
Game looks
today,
doomed. Kalista can't play this game
punishing G2,
anymore.
who definitely are not living up to expectations.
No, they certainly are not. And this was G2 looking for one last opportunity. Maybe they can catch Rogue unawares, catch them in their rotations. But
Rageblade is
they
better
didn't have
than
the damage.
Hurricane
They
here. I
couldn't
mean,
find the
Rageblade versus a
picks.
lot of tanks is
And
pretty
now
good, but
Rogue
I
with
think
the
the only
Baron
region that
buff
does
are
that is
looking
an
to
A.
finally break into the base of G2.
Yeah, they've got
But it is
two
a
waves
pretty good
working
item
for them right
on
now.
Kalista
Fired
if
and
you're
Vander
playing
getting
to things
back
like
on
this.
map, and still a lot of time before Wonder
So you can
and
actually
Caps
stack
are
it
going
up
to
and
find
kill a tank.
reinforcements. This mid inner tower, this inhibitor tower, is going to fall down with the base
Other picks you
open.
can't.
Rogue fully in control.
And for the first time in the organization's history, they're looking to get their first win against G2. They've
Well,
come so
Solo's
close
up
so
in
many
150,
times,
and that's probably what's going to end the game here for
at the
G2.
very end. Now they are so very close. They're going to look to reset one more time.
Because they are going to have to push through mid, and then they're just going to get engaged on, flanked, and killed. So it's almost doomed. Almost 100% doomed here.
It doesn't feel like right now this G2 would be able to come back from this point. I mean, you see this little engage here onto Vander and Inspired, and it just goes way wrong.
Yep, yeah, right in this corner.
Braum
here.
is
I mean,
literally
the fear
unkillable
is
at this point.
massive. Perks get slammed over the wall, stunned
Good
up,
Braum
so
ult as
Larson
well.
can come in from the top side of this, but the way Rogue are approaching the fight from so
Okay,
many
Hansama
different
autoed
fronts,
the
Larson
ward,
on
but
the
we
top,
just won't
Finn
talk
on the
about it.
bottom. Finn continually finding these really big Ornn ultimates that create so much chaos for G2. We are seeing how G2 struggle. They have so many damage dealers, but where is the front line? The theory is Kayle gives you the survivability.
Seen Rogue throw
Graves
worse
can
games.
be a
This game is
quasi-front line with
unthrowable,
the
I don't
death
think.
stance. Even
I
Kalista with
just
her
don't think that this...
sustained
I don't see
items
how you
can do
throw
the
from this
same,
point.
But it does not match up
Seems
to
too
an
crazy
Ornn
to me.
and a level 18 Hecarim who has 6 kills.
Just too fucking crazy.
Has just stolen the show right now, but he's led the way for the entirety of Rogue. And the thing that I love about the team fights and the way they've set up their flanks and their engages, you can see the level of communication, the level of coordination within the team.
I really think that the Seraphs would have been better this game.
Is now considering hopping onto Mickey. 30
Don't pick
seconds
Kalista anymore.
till
I
the
think
hurdle.
Kalista's not the issue.
This will be
I think
the
that
last
jungle
fight.
top
It feels like
champion
with
picks are the issue
the
here.
base open for G2.
I think when you
If
play
G2
Kalista, you also
cannot
prefer
get
ganking
this right,
junglers,
then Rogue
meaning
can look
you
to
don't want
finish.
Graves.
Larson on the flank once again. Keep your eyes on the
Doing something that
stealthy
can
ninja.
just hard force with the Kalista ult.
Execute the carries of G2, but he goes in.
So now is when they should just get flanked and lose, which is what I said earlier. I said that they're just going to get flanked and lose here, so let's see if the analysis is correct. I mean, Larson came in on the flank, one-shot the Akali. Okay, game's over.
The divine judgment simply does not help when the team
Stunned.
gets split up
Inspired
and
kills
gets
Caps.
flanked. Rogue find
They just run it down
another
mid and
4
end.
kills, and
Or they can go
Carlos is
bot.
gonna
I
look
think
for
they just
Yanko.
run it
Will
down
he
mid.
get the kill? Yes, he does. It's
Okay,
an
Finn is
ace
TPing there,
before they
but
push
I think
into
you
the
just go
base.
mid here,
Rogue's
because
team
you already have the
fighting is a
inhibitor and the wave's
beautiful
coming
thing
in,
to
so...
behold. Absolutely in control. Their approach has
It
been
doesn't really matter
entirely
where you
on
choose to
point,
end through.
and it is Rogue going to take down G2.
Get to say something that we've never said since Rogue has been around. For the first time in the organization's history, they take down G2 Esports, pick up the first win in the best of 5.
Not bad.
And a one-step
Not bad
closer
from
to
Rogue.
facing finale.
They came out.
Let's free fall.